Finally, justice for Mohbad. And this is everything you need to know regarding the police updates on the cause of Mohbad's death, as well as the suspects being named culpable in the death of the late singer. According to the police, Mohbad died from complications due to the injection given to him by an auxiliary nurse, thereby making the nurse their primary suspect, their major suspect. The nurse, who have been named to be Ms. Feisayo Ogedembe, was said to have been called by Mohbad's friend on the 12th of September 2023. And when she came, she administered 3 different injections on Mohbad, one of which was an anti-tetanus injection for an injury he had sustained. Put in mind that the autopsy result has not been officially announced and released, but it seems like the police know something about the result. It seems like they are working with what the autopsy result may have produced, even though they've not told us what's in it. According to the police, they said Mohbad died as a result of the injection and the drugs that were given to him. They said the drugs caused him to have goosebumps, caused him to throw up, and caused him to lose his life. And that is why the nurse is being listed as their primary suspect, citing that she's not a professional and she's not qualified to administer such heavy amount of medication on anybody.
Auxiliary nurse who was contacted and invited by Yobani Sadiq, aka Spending, a friend of Mohbad, on 11 September 2023 to treat the singer at the deceased residence in Lekki. She eventually came on Tuesday, 12 September 2023 and administered 3 different injections, which are believed to have occasioned the chain of reactions that directly resulted in the eventual death of the singer.
And the second suspect was said to be one of Mohbad's friends by the name of Spending, or Ayobami Sadiq, whose picture is still not yet circulating. It was said that the friend Spending was the one who called the auxiliary nurse that injected Mohbad that caused Mohbad's death. The third suspect was named to be Prime Boy, Mohbad's childhood friend, who we have already heard about, who the police was said to have been wanted at the point, and he had gone around making press releases talking about, his own side of the story and how he feels he might have is being framed. So Prime Boy is the third suspect in this whole case, and his own involvement in Mohbad's death, according to the police, was said to have been that he caused the injury that Mohbad was being treated for that led to his death. According to the police, a day before Mohbad had the fatal injection that killed him, on the Sunday, Mohbad was said to have gone to perform at a show in Ikorodu where his childhood friend Prime Boy was with him. And somewhere during the show, it was said Mohbad and Prime Boy got into a fight. Now, the police described the fight to be a violent fight, a very serious fight, a very heavy fight. And in that process of the fight, Prime Boy inflicted an injury on Mohbad. So, according to the police investigation, the injury that Prime Boy inflicted on Mohbad was what led Mohbad to go and receive the treatment that killed him. So, therefore, they are citing Prime Boy to be their third suspect. Even though Prime Boy has denied having to physically attack Mohbad, Prime Boy has gone on various press interviews where he explained what happened that day. And if you remember, Prime Boy claimed that he was in the vehicle with Mohbad and Mohbad's wife, and somewhere along the line when they were getting ready to leave the show, Mohbad and his wife got into an argument, and Prime Boy said he did not want to get into the argument, so he wasn't trying to take sides, and that upset Mohbad, who then changed it for Prime Boy. And although Prime Boy admitted that there was some kind of altercation, but Prime Boy is standing on his ground that he did not hit or fight or cause any injury to Mohbad. But according to the police, they believe that Prime Boy was the one who caused the injury, the direct injury that led to Mohbad getting the medication that killed him.
Ibrahim Oluwatosin Owodunni, aka Prime Boy, is a childhood friend of Mohbad. He attended the show at Ikorodu in Mohbad's company on 10 September 2023. At the end of the show, Mohbad and Ibrahim were engaged in a violent fight during which Mohbad was injured. The management of the injury subsequently resulted in his death.
I don't know how that would play in court. I just feel like since Prime Boy did not directly kill Mohbad, and this could have been as a result from a fight that was even, and so I don't know. I feel like he might probably serve a lesser sentence if worse comes to worse. And I also do feel like there is more to be said. I feel like when this goes to court, Prime Boy is going to say a whole lot of what happened that day, and maybe he's going to throw many people under the bus. But a lot of people feel that Prime Boy is being used as a scapegoat. A lot of people feel that all the powerful people involved in the case, that is, the two powerful people there, have found a way to make the police hold one person responsible for the injuries. Because let me tell you this, we knew Mohbad had injuries. We knew that these injuries were caused by fight and the beating that Mohbad had suffered. But we all thought it was the beating from Sami Larry and Naira Marley's gang. We all thought all the injuries that Mohbad would have sustained or Mohbad would be treating himself for would be from one of those beatings that Sami Larry and his gang or Naira Marley and his gang would have inflicted on him. So that was where I was thinking the injury or the people beating him, the source of the injury would come from. And I think the police were looking at that route, only for them to learn or discover that Mohbad had gotten into a fight recently, and it was not with either Naira Marley or Sami Larry, but with his childhood friend, Prime Boy, which is really unfortunate. Even if that happened, I don't think Prime Boy meant to hurt or meant to want to kill Mohbad. It could just be two brothers fighting and an injury just happens during those fights, and but well, that is what the police are citing, and that is what the police are using to hold Prime Boy as a prime suspect. But you guys, let me know your thoughts. Do you think that Prime Boy is being used as a scapegoat, or do you think Prime Boy deserves to be held accountable? If indeed he had a fight with Mohbad on that day and that fight led to a serious injury, then he should be held accountable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments when it comes to Prime Boy and Mohbad's fight. And do you think it must have been a deliberate act to injure Mohbad? I don't think Prime Boy meant for Mohbad to die, if indeed the fight happened and if indeed he caused the injury that led Mohbad to get the injection that killed him. But let me know your thoughts. So the other two suspects are Sami Larry and Naira Marley. But the thing is not what we think it should be. At the initial time of this story, they were the major people that we were both looking at. They were the ones we wanted the police to bring to book. And unfortunately, with the way the case is going, Sami Larry and Naira Marley have not been found culpable to the direct death or cause of death for Mohbad. So they are not involved. When it comes to the death of Mohbad, that is Mohbad dying, and the causes and the people involved in it, the police only mentioned the auxiliary nurse, Mohbad's friend that invited the nurse, even though it was said that Mohbad was asked to go to the hospital, but he refused, which prompted his friends to call the nurse. And then Prime Boy, Mohbad's childhood friend who allegedly had a serious fight with him a day before the injection and before the death. So those are the three people being held culpable in the death, that is in the death of Mohbad. Now, it's looking like Sami Larry and Naira Marley may have, gotten away with that one. At this point, they are not going to be named in the death, unless, of course, anything changes, unless, of course, the nurse, for some reason, confesses that it is one of them that sent her. Other than that, Sami Larry and Naira Marley will not be held or has not been held culpable in the death of Mohbad. However, they are still being named as suspects. They are still being mentioned as suspects. They are still being investigated. In fact, they will or they may go to court, but for a different reason and a different cause other than the death of Mohbad. Sami Larry and Naira Marley will be facing possible charges in their role in frustrating Mohbad's life, bullying him, sending thugs after him, all the beating and all the suffering and everything that Mohbad went through in the hands of the Malian record label, as well as this Sami Larry. Those are the things that they are going to be charged for. And the police made it clear that they had witnesses because when it comes to that case, something like bullying and oppression like that, they would need Mohbad to speak up or speak out. But since Mohbad is not here and is deceased, there were witnesses who came forward to give testimonies that were strong enough to hold Naira Marley and Sammy Larry culpable in bullying, frustrating, oppressing, and beating Mohbad. So those are the crime that they are looking to face. Those are the two things that they may have to deal with when it comes to the case of Mohbad. And I'm happy that the police is not just letting them off the hook. Ordinarily, if they were just focusing on the murder, if they were focusing on Mohbad's death, Sammy Larry and Naira Marley would be gone. They'll be back home, laughing at us, making fun and making comments. They'll be gone. But the police have decided to also hold them accountable for the bullying and oppression and the abuses that they caused on this boy, and they will pay for it. And I'm happy about that, because that is the least we could get. That is the least. So guys, these are the named suspects when it comes to Mohbad's death. This is what the police are saying right now, and we just have to see how this unfolds. Although, it might change, because right now it's still early on. Everybody is lawyering up. Prime Boy has his lawyers. I'm sure the nurse also has her lawyers, but I don't know what her lawyers are going to do for her, because she is the major suspect. She is the one who might go down for the direct cause of Mohbad's death. But before we conclude this video, I want to answer some questions that I know a lot of people will be dying to know, because we talked about this on my live on YouTube, and there were so many questions that kept repeating itself, and I can imagine that people would have that question. Now, when it comes to what about the wife? Okay, Mohbad's wife is not being named as a suspect, obviously, so there's nothing relating her to the death of Mohbad. It was said that Mohbad was asked to go to the hospital, maybe by the wife, but Mohbad refused, and so his friend called the auxiliary nurse. Now, I don't know why the friend who called the auxiliary nurse is going to be held accountable. I'm not sure, but I don't see whatever role he has to play looks very minute to me, unless the friend maybe conspired with somebody and the nurse. And if that is the case, then they would have to speak up and mention the names of the people that sent them. Otherwise, if nobody sent them, then the nurse especially will be held accountable. Now, when it comes to Mohbad's father, obviously he's not being named here. He has been cleared. We all have our suspicion, but that was because he quickly and hurriedly and disrespectfully buried his son in a very suspicious manner. But right now, the police are not naming him as a suspect. A lot of people also asked about DNA testing for Mohbad's son and the wife. That is a totally different topic entirely. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if we are trying to chase justice for Mohbad, that part has really little or nothing to do with the case. So even if Mohbad's son is not his son, okay, how does that translate to the wife killing Mohbad? You would have to make it make sense in that aspect, because I don't think the police are looking in that direction. And I kind of think it's Mohbad's son, for what it's worth, but all right, it's up for debate. And even if she did DNA testing, it won't be given to us. I don't think it's our place though, but okay. And so that is it. That is the major question a lot of people did ask. Basically, we just have to wait and see. This case is still going to go on. Everybody's going to put up a fight. Naira Marley has more issues with the EFCC, so his fight is bigger. And I can assume that Prime Boy, as well as Mohbad's friend who called the nurse, will also put up a fight. They all have their lawyers, and this is going to be a long case. Maybe not too long, but I personally just feel like in the end, it was the nurse, or it will be the nurse who injected Mohbad, that will take the full responsibility for killing Mohbad, because she is the one who did the direct deed that instantly caused Mohbad's death. If Prime Boy and Mohbad had a fight, Mohbad did not die immediately from the fight, so it's obvious that Prime Boy did not mean to kill Mohbad, whether deliberately or by accident. However, his action led Mohbad into seeking a medication that eventually caused his death. So I'm sure this is going to be an easy case for Prime Boy lawyer to sort out. So I don't see him suffering for this for long. I see him getting out of it. I see even the friend that called the nurse out of it. Now, when it comes to Naira Marley and the other one, I honestly don't care. I just hope, because it's clear that they bullied this boy and they tortured him. So for the crime they are being held accountable for, they should face the full extent of it. So whatever that punishment would be, they should deal with it. But you guys, let me know your thoughts, let me know your opinions, and don't forget to like and share. And stay subscribed to our channel so that whenever there is an update, you will get notified. Thank you guys for watching.